Joining us now is Donald Bremer, former intelligence officer and founder and chairman of the Bremer Group, and William Ogborn, a global risk consultant and a former State Department official. Gentlemen, thank you for being with us. Don, Russia has really been good to have you guys. Don, let's start with you. Russia has been playing all sides so far, and it's been able to get away with it. It supports Assad, it's an ally of Iran, and has strong relations with Israel. But it seems that we're now at the point where Russia needs to clearly choose sides. Does it seem that Russia has chosen and it's siding with Syria and Iran over Israel here?
Well, good evening, Michelle. You know, when you look at Russia in this situation, you're right. They are trying to play all sides in this case. And when they speak of another country coming forward to pursue their own interest in Syria, I think that's something that they are guilty of themselves. You know, they've had their long alliance with Syria and with Iran and trying to maintain good relations with Israel at the point, but I wouldn't call these airstrikes arbitrary. If you look at what they're being used for, these attacks in Damascus are clearly aimed at weapons transfers that are taking place both in Syria and moving forward to Lebanon.
Yeah, very hard to call these strikes arbitrary, William, when Israel is taking out hostile targets like weapon depots or military camps, missile launch sites, and when Iran has made its intentions very clear, calling for Israel's destruction. And there was an Iranian missile attack at Israel this week, and the only reason it didn't cause massive devastation is thanks to Israel's Iron Dome defense technology. So what does it say that Russia is calling them arbitrary? Has Russia now sided with Syria and Iran?
Well, Russia's always going to first side with Syria. That is their ally in the region. Iran obviously made the phone call to Russia and said, hey, we need you to try and put some pressure here because they're hitting us. The Russians know exactly that this is, like my colleague said, not arbitrary. They are hitting depots. And Israel has to be very careful because they know that these weapons transfers are going to go to Hezbollah. It's going to be used against them, and it's not for trying to quell ISIS. So now you're looking at trying to get a diplomatic solution using Russia to force Iran to stop what it's doing, or at least tap it down, and also prevent Israel from continuing strikes against an erstwhile ally currently that they're using. That's Russia using Iran for their benefit.
So, Don, what happens if Israel dismisses Russia's requests here and continues to take out these hostile Iranian targets? I mean, does Russia then take action against Israel? What happens then?
Well, Michelle, there's a fine line there. You know, Iran has become very reliant on its alliance with Russia, especially when you look forward to all the other activities going on with their economy. It's failing. They need Russian business. They need all the aid that they get from Russia that they do not get since their relationship with the United States has failed. So they're kind of in a spot where they have to toe the party line, for lack of a better word. Russia has the power play here, especially with looking forward with what's going on in the situation there, as all of these activities that are going on in Syria predominantly do come from Russian sources, Russian troops, and supporting the IRGC.
So you see Russia then successfully trying to rein in Iran as a solution here. Don?
Well, I'm not sure if anyone could successfully rein in Iran. It's something that's been tried many, many times before. And with that hostile government and their terrorist ways and their Islamic thoughts, it's going to be hard to control them. You know, Russia has a very strong position here that they're going to have to uphold. But it remains to me. I think if anyone can do it with that region, you know, Putin might have the ability, but I think it's an open deck.
William, Syria's ambassador to the United Nations is threatening that if the Security Council doesn't stop these Israeli strikes, that Syria will retaliate and attack Israel's Ben Gurion airport. Now, as we know, the UN is usually very eager to take action against Israel, hasn't been able to take much action against Assad and his use of chemical weapons, but it is very quick to condemn Israel. Assuming something is taken at the Security Council, I think we can count on the U.S. To veto any action. So do you see Syria making good on those threats and directly attacking Israel?
I think that this is a case where Russia will try to rein them in. They know the implication of if Syria directly attacks Israeli targets, that's risking too much open warfare, and that's putting the U.S. and Russia directly at odds They can't afford to do that. They're going to have to make sure that Syria and Assad and Iran know that there is a line for them. They can do certain things. They will allow that. They will have their back. But there does come a point when you do not want to go directly against Israel and risk an all-out retaliation from the United States.
Don, there is some concern or speculation that Israel may now take out Iranian targets in Iraq. Iran is also militarizing parts of Iraq, building its land bridge to the Levant. Do you see that as a possible next step here?
I think that would be a very tough decision for Netanyahu. As we look in towards this election right now, he's getting a lot of resistance. And I think anytime that you look at using your military for political gain or politicizing it, just as we've seen here in the United States, it doesn't fare well. It does support your narrative for your backing and your supporters, but also the other side will use that against you. So I think that's something he should probably not do at this point, and look forward to seeing how we can mitigate situations without such an aggressive action.
William, very quickly, in the 30 seconds we have left, why is Iran upping the ante and attacking Israel directly? What's Iran's agenda?
Well, Iran's agenda is to try and create weapons depots that they can then use, shuttle into Lebanon, and give to Hezbollah. They are not looking to defeat ISIS with these depots. They are looking to prepare for a longer game, and that's what Russia has to be careful of, and that's what Assad has to be careful of, and Israel absolutely is justified in trying to make sure that they are safe in this circumstance.
Well, you know, attacking Israelis on a ski resort with missiles is a full-on act of war, so you have to wonder why Iran wants to escalate things to that level. It knows that Israel is not likely to take that without some kind of response. Gentlemen, thank you so much. William Ogborn and Don Bramer, appreciate your analysis.